So this is the concern that's like kind of the opposite of the last code switching video I did, where I talked about getting more feminine at work and loosening up around friends. This is the opposite. This is people who are more feminine around their friends, but more masculine at work. We're going to talk about this side of things. I see this a lot from my students who work in more corporate jobs rather than things like service jobs, which I talked about in my last video. And I agree with this comment so much. It is a result of the corporate hierarchy favoring masculinity for all women, trans or cis. There's a rather famous case of this from Elizabeth Holmes, who is the CEO of some biotech company. I can't remember exactly, but she put on a very baritone kind of voice, like something that was very much leaning masculine, in order to command respect in the corporate hierarchy. And before I go more into detail about it, yeah, being a woman in the workplace sucks. I just want to affirm that first and foremost. There is an expectation of a capitulation towards masculinity. And then, of course, there are trans women who are not out at work yet and still putting on a dead voice. That feeling is really shitty, like you can't be your authentic self. That being said, there's a little detail in this comment I want to mention, in a more masculine cadence. Think about that, in a more masculine cadence. That isn't necessarily saying a more masculine voice. That isn't saying a more male voice. It's a more masculine cadence. That is an indication of vocal gender. And vocal gender is something we can alter without changing our perception towards being less female, but yeah, being less feminine. So if I were to take a voice that kind of sounds like this, you can tell it's not really as excited or bubbly as my previous voice, but it's a more masculine cadence and it might command a little bit more respect in the boardroom. We could also aim for like some of that news speaker kind of sound. Yes, Bill, I did get those papers filed. Now back to the weather with John. For my last example, I'm going to aim for something a little bit kind of under full femme. We're going to sort of see how this gets read, right? It still gets read maybe more feminine leaning, but it's not necessarily all the way as feminine as I'm sure you might want to be. But these are some examples of some voices you can put on at work that still sound female. Thank you for the comment. Have a great rest of your day.